I'm Thundercloud, Mum calls me James, watching the way the gardens and rainbows after rains. Welcome to Wednesday Words at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, washing away the garbage. Did I say that already? Leaving rainbows after rains. I don't think I did. Can mix it up. Well, what have we got for you tonight? We've got Skye, Bridget, Jodie, myself. But I'm going to start off with Robert D. Fitzgerald, the son of Robert D. Fitzgerald, the grandson and great-grandson of Robert D. Fitzgerald. Ran in the family, Robert David. He was born in 1902, died in 1987. He was a surveyor and a poet, as well as that he was quite respected through the century. He started writing poetry quite young, but he wrote all the way through his life. This is one from towards the end of his life. He loved. He wrote very good poetry, and he used to use different kind of rhyming structures and poetic structures, as well as free verse. But this is one of his, I guess it's a kind of a grumpy old man one. Just once. No doubt I have lived too long. What my world was goes, where one's way of looking at it went. To keep the fled years company, or because veins thicken and the stiffening mind gets bent. Always to the rear of that environment, the province and creation of the young. Yet, since my days are still, in fact, unspent, and I have still opinions and my tongue, I'll say just once, I like a tune well sung, not cranky music. As for abstract art, the painters, not their product, should be hung. Dupes with the fakes, for both have built in part this age of shoddy. And one final curse, hell take freak poetries. I like good verse. Robert David Fitzgerald. And since I don't have my iPad with my poems on, I suppose I better recite one. I see Skye's got Molly McNutt ready, so I might do a Molly McNutt poem that I know that I can recite. This is called Australian Remounts. And now Molly McNutt won a prize for this, I think in 1914. It might have been 16 maybe. And they were calling on poems about the remounts, which were the horses that the light horse rode in World War I that were sent off to war, that fought in, the deserts or Flanders, where it was just mud, 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 and more mud. So yeah, think about horses being abducted and taken overseas to fight in a war. That's what this is about. It's called Australian Remounts. Stalwart dams they ran with in the mammoth station paddocks, where the roller circles and the grey-winged ibis throng. Heard the dingoes howling in the lonesome midnight watches, and the wonder music of the magpie's morning song. Romped across tussock grass and gambled in the sunshine, smuggled by their mothers through frost-clear southern nights, while in friendly fashion looked the great cross down upon them with its 5 points twinkling midst a host of lesser lights. Whether born and bred amongst the blue New England ranges, or in far-flung never land of far-flung salt bush plain, sunny smiling Queensland, or the slopes of cold Monaro, ran the blood of gallant sires in all their hounding veins. Fragrant in their nostrils was the breath of gum and wattle. Do they now in foreign lands across the tossing foam Fancy through the darkness they can hear the mopoke calling, stir in restless slumbers at some fleeting glimpse of home. Puzzled by the strangeness of the blow that fate has dealt them, war to them a nightmare they can never understand, tugging up the grey guns, stiff and sore and weary, through the snows of somewhere or some vast forgotten land, plunging gamely onward while the cruel shells are screaming through the crack of rifles and the bullets zip and thud, winning fame and glory, all unknowing and uncaring, craving but the homestead for those leagues of Flanders mud. Molly McNutt. Australian remounts. Yeah. And a lot of great imagery, isn't it? Like I just get goosebumps doing that, and yeah, when you add that, sort of put it into, you give people the picture. Think about a horse here going to war to begin with, and then it's like, whoa, you know what they're doing, yeah. All right, now let's do one that I've written this week, and then after that, I'll invite someone up. Who would like to come up first? Jodie, okay. Jodie's a kind of new part-time local. She'll be here for 6 weeks, farm sitting, yes, and she's also a writer, so she'll be coming up next. I don't even know Jodie's other name. So, sorry? Ferguson. All right. Truck and life. All right. Of all things. So, a bit of background. 2 o'clock on, what day are we at? Last Thursday night, 2 a.m. I look out my front window and there's this procession of trucks going past, and it was because the Pacific Highway was closed. Well, if I jump back to when I was, 1990, 91, I was working at BP Rockley Truck Stop in Brisbane on the midnight to dawn shift. And I saw some pretty cool stuff. And I was also studying a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies, Australian Environmental Studies. And I had to do an ethnographic study as a part of a sociology subject. And I did an ethnographic study, which is basically writing about the habits and lives of truck drivers. So I've always liked the truckies, and they do it tough, and it's pretty much the second most dangerous job after farming. Truck and life. 2 a.m. looking out the theatre window and the rain has fallen down. Not just here, but flood in every creek and low-lay in town. By the coast, the Pacific Highway is cut and there's only one way to get to Brisbane, to Sydney, and that's the New England Highway. There's an almost constant flow of trucks passing in the night. Most of them are B-doubles, and it's an amazing sight. A reminder that without trucks and truckies, Australia stops. It's a hard, difficult and dangerous job, and I think that our truckies are tops. Slim Dusty sang about the trucks and the lights on the hill that were blinding, but never did he mention the upper pills or the impact of days and hours away from home, family and wife. Respect to all the hard-working truckies who live the long-haul trucking life. In the night, the trucks are lit like Christmas trees, lines of orange lights, as this dedicated profession rumbles through the Gyra nights and interrupting the sleep in every New England highway town. As the flooding rain falls down, Australia's trucks keep moving freight around. That's that. Yeah. Dedication to the truckies. And we got another one. In the greater greatness of greatness, reading poetry is like experiencing the universe from someone else's perspective. Oh, we love it. When I'm driving, I only run over good people. My score so far, 0. I suppose that's why you're watching this. Yeah, I used to work with this old English dude, and he'd drive around the Woolworths fruit and vegetable distribution centre on a forklift, and people would jump out of the way or whatever. I only run over good people. All right, have I got one more for you before I go on? No, I'm going to invite Jodie up. Jodie, come on.
I'm just going to give you a little bit of insight on myself. I am currently living a travelling farm sitter's life, something new that I started officially March this year. And that's why I'm in Guyra. And then seeing Poetry Hall of Fame as an opportunity to share my words. Not mostly the things that I like to do, but I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, try new things. So here we go. I grew up in a kinship adoption home. So it was my first stable environment after a series of very traumatic events as a young child and then a school-age child. So So during that healing process of coming through the trials of life, Christ found me, and I had an overwhelming urge to just write things down. And I really didn't like English. I didn't like studying language. Paper and pen was not really my thing. I'm an outside kid, I like being on a farm. I work with animals. But this overwhelming urge just was there. And I started writing about my childhood and the experiences that I had. And friends and family members, when they were reading these bits and pieces, because I sort of said, oh, I've been doing a bit of writing. And they're like, oh, show us what's going on. They're like, you should make a book. I'm like, I don't know how to make a book. So I kind of just put it to the side. And it's taken me 25 years to get to this point. And learning how to journal was really helpful when I started going to some church meetings and just getting the thoughts out of my head, things that come up and the things that you grapple with and things that you might be fighting about in your mind. Get it out on a page. It was really helpful. So some of these entries were in a poetic fashion, and that was the ones that people were reading, and they're saying, you should make that into a book. People would like to read this. I was like, oh, really? So that's how the poetry book was birthed, and that's my Just Jodie poems. Oh, it's available on Amazon. But I'm going to read a couple of these for us now because I'm at the Poetry Hall of Fame. How cool. Thanks for making space for we creatives. So on page 16, there's one here. It was very helpful at the time, what I was going through. So this one is titled Revelation About Torment. Oh my Lord, I feel I cannot escape. This life I have to live. I cannot run far enough. I cannot run fast enough. I cannot shake myself out of here. For the torment I feel is invisible. It's inside my head. It's the thoughts I think. It's the ideas I believe. It's not what I thought life was about. I'm not living a comfortable life. I don't want to be where I am. Yet, I feel I have no choice. I was abandoned again. This is the 5th time in my life. Oh no! This is a glimpse of what hell would be like. It truly is. For I have read about the pain. I've heard about the sounds that you hear. If you do not choose to allow Christ to help you in your life, a life without hope? No. How could I ever stand it? Lord Jesus, thank you so much. You are carrying me through this time. I'm willing to try. I am willing to learn how to be happy in this circumstance that I do not like. barely alive. I must snap out of it 200 or 300 times a day with these thoughts in my head, telling myself it's only temporary. There is hope. Enjoy any moments you can. Best of all, my Savior is with me, and He understands. He has been here before. Just Jodie. That was a challenging time. Yeah, pretty bizarre being somewhere that you feel like you can't escape. So the next one, a little bit of a lighter vibe. This is the river water's point of view. So because I like being outside, I just see things in nature, and this poem basically came out of wondering what the water thought. I am liquid. I am vapor. I am mist. I am ice. I can handle all aspects of my life. I definitely had a handle on saying, let it roll. Imagine how broken I would be if I didn't accept all the different aspects of who I am. I am liquid. I am vapor. I am mist. I am ice. If I was not 100% flexible, willing to adapt to my circumstances, bending and weaving those rocks, letting go totally as I fall over to ride the waterfall. Woohoo! As I go shouting for joy, down, down, and down. Then when the excitement dies down and the call is to be still, I'm there, whispering, listening. As I go flowing ever so smooth, clear as crystal, shimmering like diamonds, even when I become like ice. I must be dead still. Do not bite, yet listen, observe, learn, relate. I am the watchman when I am ice. That was a poem from 2009. Keep going. Okay, page 100. Oh, yes. I remember when I was in this one. The Saviour's Mallet. Shielded lady. Imagine a lady who keeps her distance with her emotions. This creates an invisible shield around her heart as she goes about her life. No one notices the shield, not her, not her friends, until this new special friend she finds in her world. A young child arrives. Every time this child tries to talk about deep issues, there it is, the invisible shield. The young one cannot get past it, resulting to putting letters on her pillow. The young girl dreams of the day when the shielded lady starts to talk to her. Years went by. She never talked to her about the letters. The young girl decides, I'm not worth it talking to. There's sadness. Why doesn't she want to talk to me? Her chest is tight. Fine. I'll just put up my guard. I can take care of herself. She can take care of herself. She has reached out, got no help. She's tough. There's sadness, tears. She doesn't need anyone else. It's up to her. There's anger now, determination, iron on the inside, solid armor around her heart, self-preservation armor, yet artificial armor. Not true armor? Look, what is that? He has a rubber mallet, a mallet of love to break the preservation armor. Swing, follow through, smash. Ah, that feels much better. Some relief. A burden has been taken away. She skips down the hallway to put a letter on her pillow. The shielded lady does not have a wallop anymore. There is joy. Another one from 2009. These have been just been writing things down as they came out or needed to come out. So 115. Aha, this one is a little bit more recent. 2020, this one is from. And I worked as a chaplain in the primary schools for 7 years. So this was actually a poem that I left the school when I moved into a different job. So felt like it was something that I could sort of give the kids and the teachers for the time that I'd been there. And that was cool. We printed it in the newsletter. So it's called Changes. Changes come and changes go. Some are sad and some are slow. Hearts you've touched and hearts you know. When you leave, it will show how much love you let go. Love that stayed forever to grow in those hearts you touched and hearts you know. May you ever grow with changes of love that show. That's Chaplain JJ 2020. Now this little one, I don't have a date, so who knows when I wrote this one. Let's open our eyes. As I looked around this big old world, I'll tell you what I found. Every place I've looked, no matter what country I was taken, God is telling me, I am with you always. In his big blue skies, the skies very often, some places more than others, have white fluffy clouds floating up very high. This brings salvation to mind. Rolling green hills, trees, grasses, and shrubs, continually growing the greenery of new life. What salvation is all about. The strongest color out there is so warm to the soul, bright, bright yellow, the cornerstone of all creation. If I stared straight at it, unprotected, it is blinding to my eyes. The sun brings glory to all, if only you would accept him. So sad that many do not see what I have found. The Father has created this for all to enjoy. He is standing by waiting to open your eyes. Seek Jesus and you will find the answers to your dreams. No more if only. The emptiness will be filled. Don't know when I wrote it. Yeah, that's all I had written down for this session. Thank you so much.
What I wrote last night, and this morning, this is last night, and I think I finished it off this morning. Yeah, when a shark comes along and changes him from a woman to a man, so then the next two verses after that, you'll know they were written this morning as opposed to last night. I was dreaming, I suppose. There were monkeys wearing football clothes in green and orange stripes and pickles in bikinis on the beach. Firemen screaming, "Where's the hose?" So they used an Antarctic elephant's nose to put the fire out, but no matter how they tried, it wouldn't reach. So the dream keeps going on, and the monkeys are winning 2-1. The elephant is unhappy when along comes the fire brigade chief, accompanied by a busty blonde witch flying on a unicorn, waving a magic wand. He puts his head in his hands and he says, "You guys are beyond belief." The beaches in Rio de Janeiro, Copacabana, the elephant is named Theo. The pickles in bikini score a goal and the match is tied. The fire chief becomes the hero. The witch waves her wand and the score resets to 0. So the monkeys take off their green and orange football stripes. The monkeys are naked. The pickles get undressed and sunbaked. So the firemen take their clothes off and lay on towels to get a suntan. The fire chief cannot take it, so goes for a swim in a thong half naked, when a shark comes along and changes him to a woman from a man. The monkey team, called the M Bros, and the bikini pickles, called the BP Hose, neither team could score a goal, so the pickle coach sent in Lola. They passed to Lola. She had a go, scored 2 goals for victory for the BP Hose, and the fire brigade chief took the elephant home and stole her. And the fire brigade took the elephant home and stole her. As for the fire chief, here my dream gets a little beyond belief. Got his willy reattached by the best plastic surgeon in Rio de Janeiro. His name was Christopher Reeves. I said that you would not believe. He became a movie actor and played Superman, a superhero. That's the end. So that's one of my surrealist poems, of course. I tend to sort of get sort of an idea in my head and then I just sort of go from there and see where it'll take me with weird shit, yeah. And then if I can make it into a story. And then there was another one that was a bit like that. Oh, well, okay, yeah, this is another one that, like, I'd been called to write a story that's full of gory. And that was like going around in my head, and I was like, oh no, I know there's something there. And I don't really write like nasty, horrible, gory poems. But anyway, here we go. So it's not. I've been called to write a story full of blood and gory bits with vampires screaming, called I Was Dreaming. But this is a different one. There was once a happy ghost who wrote the following post. I once was alive, now I'm dead because a monster bit off my head. He received the following reply. It came from Maggoty Fly. I'm a fly and you are a ghost. What is the point of this Facebook post? We are here and you are there. We know you're a ghost, yeah, because I am your friend. You wouldn't be a ghost if your life did not end. At that stage, a human enraged smashed the fly and did engage. The fly, of course, died, which, of course, I have implied. And the fly became a ghost for the very first time because of a Facebook post, where it had replied as a fly, got its gut smashed out and died. As for the screaming vampires, they were up in church tower spires with monsters biting goats' heads, preparing to hide under your beds. So when you go to bed, just remember what I said. And before you go to sleep, you might just want to have a peep, or a monster might bite off your head in the middle of the night, and then you'd become a ghost who would write such a Facebook post. I once was alive, but now I'm dead because a monster bit off my head. There's many ghosts about, and vampires scream and shout. Thank you. That's yeah, they're my surrealist ones. I'm going to invite Bridget up now. Welcome, Bridget. Bridget does a radio show, as amongst other things. Wanders around. Yeah, welcome.
So I'm Bridget, but I have a character called Madame Bovardia. And Madame Bovardia is, well, she's a grandmother really. And, you know, she's very concerned with the future for the children. I myself have been deeply immersed in world events for the last 5 years, and I feel like I've become entirely boring. So it is time now to start writing and start creating and start speaking to the heart, from the heart to the heart, from Christ, the Holy Spirit. So this, I've just had I've done a radio show called Game Changer, and that was I created the soundtrack of a cultural renaissance led by the Holy Spirit. So that was each episode weaving a narrative through songs, poems, and philosophical musings to ignite us now in the heart. So I did 16 hours of that show. Now I've decided to do a different show. I've just created this one yesterday. And this one is called Eshat Shail, and that is Hebrew for wild and holy. And it's tending to the garden of your soul. So I was quite inspired by Joni Mitchell's song where she says, "We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden." And of course, she was referring to the Garden of Eden. So the Garden of Eden is certainly very fascinating because it is foundational to our Western culture that is being decimated right now. So I'm writing, it's not necessarily poetic, but it's poetic prose. And I'm thinking of how this is the very beginning of the stage of really starting to write this new show. So I'll only be here for a little bit. It's called Whispers of Eden. In the hush before the world awoke, a garden bloomed where silence spoke. No walls were built, no names were known, just breath and soil, the seeds well sown. A river sang through sacred trees, its water wet with ancient ease. The fruits were stars in emerald light, each leaf a prayer, each dawn a rite. No shame, no fear, no veil between, the seen and unseen danced serene. Bare feet kissed earth in holy grace, each heartbeat echoed time and space. And there they walked, not lost but found, their souls enwoven with the ground. No need to rule, no need to roam, for Eden lived within their home. But not a fall for some great crime, just choice that birthed the wheel of time. The garden sleeps within the soul, a hidden gate, a silent goal. So tend your soil and plant with care. Speak kindly to the sky, breathe Eden's air. For every heart that dares return shall find the tree still waits to burn. So each week maybe I'll come back to share the progression of that. So thank you.
So yeah, don't eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge, eh? The tree of knowledge of good and evil. And then, of course, Nietzsche said we are beyond good and evil. So maybe that's what he was talking about, pre-eating the fruit. Because the tree of knowledge and good and evil is just judgment. Being muggle, as they would say in Nimby. Muggle or buggle. level up. All right, where are we going now? I will not do this one. I will do this one. The wind is whooshing, the door is open, but I understand if you want to sleep in. The rain is falling. I'm not joking. It's Tuesday morning, so get working. The river's running. The gate is open. Unfortunately, the cows need milking. The sun is rising behind the clouds. Put your coat on so you aren't freezing. The fence is down. The sheep is out. You've no choice but to get up. Many broken trees around. Careful as you drive about. Molly had a litter of pups. Little one I wrote when the wind was whooshing yesterday. It was whooshing. Yeah, it's my new favourite word. Thank you, Henry Lawson. Yeah, whoosh. Oh, okay. I guess this will do. This is Level Up, it's called. How to level up, looking for information to improve productivity in my situation. There is one idea that I suppose will help, which is implement a self-doge. It's not so simple to rhyme with doge. There's toes and nose and I suppose. I'm searching for ideas to get more done, free a little time and to have more fun. And games and events and poetry. I would like to level up and jump a tree, smash a mushroom or a dragon, collecting treasure, fighting trolls from a wagon, on a quest and a mission in a gamified life, on the lookout to avoid and conquer strife. The quest is only conquered by the bravest, not the tame. If you lay down and die, it's the end of the game. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that actually sounds all right. I'm quite happy with that. It's like gamified life. Yeah. And pretty much that's like, yeah, level up. When I used to teach English as a second language, the students would come to me and they would say, teacher, I want to level up. And as teachers, we used to laugh because, level up wasn't back then proper English. We want to go up a level or up to a higher level, but I want to level up. Well, level up is now a phrasal verb in the English language, and it means, yeah, go up a level, and it's a gamified term. So yeah, that's just for your information. Now, what I do love about poetry, and I've heard this tonight from both these two wonderful women who've been before me, is the cathartic nature of poetry. You get the stuff out. Like you got all this stuff going around in your head, in your inner voice, and writing it down seems to like get it out, and the voice is gone. The garbage, the shit. So I will invite Skye on up now, who is going to do her thing.
All right. I'm going to do Molly McNutt. She is a local from Hillgrove, and was it when was she born? Long time ago. Huh? And died a long time ago. 1800s. So yeah. So she won't mind me reading her poetry. This one is called A Nook of Bushland. There's a bushland nook I know, where the wild birds call, where the stately brogans dance, beneath the blue gums tall, where the magpie's liquid strain, sweet as splash of summer rain, mocks the little creek's refrain o'er the moss-lined fall. There in eucalyptus bloom, busy green keats swing. There the dollar high in air rocks on folded wing, and a soaring splendid song, sweet, harmonious, full and strong, from the treetops echoes long, when the grey thrush sings, jewel-eyed and golden-headed, and with rainbow plumes the honey-eater revels in the banksia blooms, till the daylight fades and dies, full of sweet bird lullabies, and a night bird plaintive cries through the star-pieced bloom. Cute little one. I'm going to do a couple of her colour rhymes. It's called Red. Red. Red apples up the orchard, red berries down the lane, red roses tapping gently upon my window pane, red poppies in the cornfields, red down on robin's breast, and red clouds when at nightfall the sun sings in the west. Red fire to keep us cozy when summer's warmth we miss, but best of all, red rosy lips when baby wants a kiss. And blue. Let's do blue. Bluebells on grassy hillsides, beneath the gum trees tall, forget-me-nots and cornflowers beside the garden wall. Blue seas in summer sunshine, reflecting bright blue skies, and blue as skies of water, our laughing baby's eyes. I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, where am I going to start? I'm going to start with the last one that I wrote. Okay, with this. So the challenge for our Poet Zinc group in Armidale, which is on the first Tuesday of each month at the Bowls Club at 7 o'clock. So that's next week on Tuesday, is to write a poem about Armidale. So I wrote this one called Armidale Sonnet. And what inspired me was the changing colours of autumn. The end of semester one is quickly approaching. Does Armidale get a pass or fail? Skeletons of trees appear as winter is encroaching, or the autumn leaves rain down on Armidale. Avenues of crimson, red and orange hues, purple and yellow, leaves of brown. Frost cracks on grass as sky clears to blues. Armidale blue brick buildings dot the town. The wind whooshes and the mercury falls as crimson sun sets clouds on fire. Bring some logs in, Dad, Mum calls. 5 p.m. smog appears as smoke rises higher. Warm winter layers are added as the skin turns pale. Why the fuck wouldn't you love good old Armidale? I was like, yeah, okay. That's sort of the whole thing, like why the fuck wouldn't you love good old Armidale? It goes back to that second line, does Armidale get a pass or fail? Which refers to, of course, the university being there. And that the whole wouldn't you love good old Armidale? That's the sort of the whole old boys of Taz kind of garbage. It's the private schoolboy wank. Yeah, it really is. That just catches Armidale very much. Yeah. And now this one was done, I think, in 2017 at Lismore for the Lismore Poetry Cup. I didn't win it, but I certainly blew a few minds. It was written in Nimbin, gosh, the flugel of Bligelash. Hang on. It'll look like this. In the flugel of Bligelash, the greel up the crust, walking sliffishly the klebim der drosh, grably ended him, hoffingly zog, hollak hast broiden it, twad chickas pluck. Twad chicka can sport, ze pluck, avec Christus, ze brustum klept whilst drust up in fistus. But griel up genotustum klebim ze pluck, avec ze broiden it, sliffishly broiden it, hock. Christus punk brack and twag chicka replucked, griel up reclamed ziens the poet jocked, avec ze muglid, bulgratcha slap, ze fakrian yurt like pluckedies up, flistus cop, ze clepting and broosting, summoned said hollack and griel up sliffishly hoosting, tall ended sliffishly, treffingly hustock, doc niffed, nemronively, lagged far till thwock, plock, 'twas ended by from grably, strugglingly through days dark, overgone, all briskly through, in the flugel of Bligelash, the greel up crushed, walking sliffishly as he cleb him the drosh, grably ended him, huffingly zog, hollack, hast broiden it, twad chickas pluck. Exactly right. I probably had a lot of mushrooms when I wrote that. Yeah, and it was inspired by so over there in Nimbin there is this lovely lady called Viv. And she's like a stick, and she's like really you'd be lucky if she's 35 kilos. But when I got to Nimbin, she said to me, "Now, Thunder, you know what's that the no the one by Lewis Carroll that they made they made the what do you call it, the thing the Monty Python made a movie about it, the Jabberwocky." Yeah. And so she said, "Do you know the Jabberwocky?" And I said, I know of it. It's a movie." She said, "No, it's a poem." She said, "Can you write it down for me?" So I went and wrote it down, and I thought, this is really cool. So I actually learned it off by heart. And then I thought, no, I can do a similar kind of a thing with that, but really take it to another level with a whole lot of really weird kind of words, and that double as nouns and adjectives and and just mix up stuff, and that's what came out. Yeah. There was one part where is it? What is it? Doc Niffid Nemronively Lagfar till Thwok. So Lagfar, if you had the word village pharmacy, LA village pharmacy, that's like village far. That's where I got that from. Nemronively is the word environment spelt backwards. Yeah, so it was just made up, really. The flugel of Bligelash. Yeah, so the Now I'll finish with one more. I guess Rainwater Tank by Les Murray. It's again, it's like a bit like Molly McNutt's Horsey one, in that it's very visually evocative. I did this down at Gloucester for the New South Wales Bush Poetry Championship this year, and I did the introduction, and then I forgot the first two words, and I stood there for a minute, listening mute, thinking, what the fuck are these first two words? Empty rings, when tapped, give tongue. Rings that are tense with water talk as he sounds them rung by rung. Joe Mitchell's red knuckles walk. Cattle dog's head slinks down a notch and another notch beside the tank. And Mitchell's boy, with an old jack plane, lifts moustache from a plank. From the puddle that the tank has dripped, hens peck glimmerings and up tilt their heads to shape the quickness down. Petunias live on what gets spilt. The tank stand spider adds a spittle thread to her portrait of her soul. Pencil grey and stacked like shillings out of a banker's paper roll stands the tank. Roof water drinker. The downpipe stares drought into it. Briefly the kitchen tap turns on, then off, but the tank says, debit, debit. Les Murray's rainwater tank. Yeah, again, a really visually sort of evocative poem, and knocking the tank. Yeah. Yeah, it's down to the fifth rung. Yeah, it's down to the fourth rung. It's down to the third rung. You better call the water truck and get some water. So I haven't done a flood poem, I don't think. Have I done a flood poem? I've done plenty of poems about thunderclouds raining and stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, have I got one more to finish off the night for you? I guess somewhere here. No, that's Australian remounts. I don't need that. I know that off by heart now. I'll find something in here. If I flick through here enough, I'll find something that I wrote recently. Old MacDonald had a murderous clock. Oh, well, that's a good way to end the night, isn't it? That's the last thing of the night. In the middle of the night, the clock rang twice. On the third stroke, struck and killed 2 mice. They fell to the floor and the clock struck 4. In the morning, there were no mice anymore. In the middle of the morning, the clock struck 10 of old Farmer MacDonald's best laying hen. He said, oh no, that clock must go. It's causing me woe. E-I-E-I-O-E-I-O. In the middle of the evening, the clock rang its bell, struck and killed the cat at 8, at 9 the dog as well. It went to work later and sent a cow to heaven, repeatedly striking it. The coroner said 11. The very next afternoon, it killed MacDonald's duck, his goose, then pig and horse, but it was out of luck. Farmer MacDonald said that thing must go, so he blew up his clock. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. The very next day, sometime about 2, the wind blew strong and burning clock embers flew. Landed on the barn, and then the barn caught fire, burnt the tractor and machinery, and melted all the tyres of the truck. And old Farmer MacDonald yelled, damn, I tried to kill the clock, but it had a cunning plan. The barn landed on his head as the wind began to blow. There was no more E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Thank you very much. And that was written on the 6th of May, which is the day after my dad's birthday. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Now, if you've liked that tonight, I will edit this out and whatever, but if you like that tonight, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click on the notification bell for more, share it as well. Yeah, share it around, share it far and wide. Yeah, because it, if you've liked something that you've heard tonight, as sure enough it resonates with someone else, and that's why we write poetry. We share it so that then other people can feel our healing journeys. I said that feel word, didn't I? And some other people can share our healing journeys or our journeys or whatever, and often they resonate and they also get healing out of that too. So, yeah. It's great to see, when people change their lives because of a poem you've written or something like that. Well, thank you, Jodie, Bridget, Skye. Thundercloud. See you later. Bye. Yeah. So I can edit that in.